Okay, welcome everybody to Coffee and Art in the Morning, Friday. I call Fridays impromptu because I never know if I'm going to be able to stream on a Friday. I really wasn't going to stream this Friday because I have a portrait I want done by Monday, so that means working on it today. But now it's going to have to be worked on later today and over the weekend because Jean, yeah, because I wanted to stream today. Just teasing. So anyway, yeah, so I have a Barnes and Noble gift card from Annie, my daughter Annie, for Mother's Day, burning a hole in my pocket. I want to go spend that on Saturday. So anyway, that being said, yes, right, Valerie, I got to get my priorities straight. The bookstore. No, I'm just kidding. But I am well into the portrait, so that's why I said, well, I want to finish it today. But yeah, I'll stream for a little while. Yeah, Jean. So anyway, I did finish in the Minuet de Bull. Yeah, in this book, I finished the bunnies and bricks page, and I did post it on Facebook, Twitter, and everywhere. Now, when you see it, I told this to Jean after I posted it everywhere, and then I went back to Twitter to talk, and then I noticed I had not finished. I almost finished this pot and had not finished that pot. Sorry, guys. Fans blowing in my face, shading those two. So when you look at it on Twitter, and I told Jean, I said, Jean, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody I didn't finish those two pots. Really, it was just this one, the main one. And so I looked real carefully. I took my black pencil and made sure I went around every little bit. And yeah, and I forgot that pot. So when you look at it close up, maybe nobody would notice, and I probably shouldn't have said, but I couldn't resist. So anyway, that one's not done when you see it online. But I did finish everything else, and I really like these two. I like the way they look real weathered, those two, and that one too. And then of course our bricks, and then the little dress and the little shirt. I'm going to tilt it just a little because I am holding it up. And so the wagon wheel, there we go. Tilt it just a little, get the glare off. And these purple flowers, I really like the way they turned out. So I was really happy with this page. Hang on, guys. Oh. Sorry. A sip of coffee here. I was really happy with this page. Thanks, Suzanne. And hi, by the way. Good morning, Suzanne. Suzanne got her, she won a pack of the art card stuff, and she got that. Hey, Scoobs. Thanks, Eileen. And thanks, Shalene. Hey, Terry. Good to see you. Good morning. Hope your wing is well. That sounds fun. I hope your wing is well. Yeah, so I had just forgot to do that one and half of that one, but it's fixed now. So anyway, that's in this book, and it is posted on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Everybody's loving it on Instagram. I'm so glad. So yeah, the next thing I want to show is I got a new book in the mail from Tassie Tina. Tassie Tina had said in, let me see how she said it, where she got it from, because I talked to her in message. Hang on. Let me go over here, messages. Okay, she said this is a Filipino artist, and she had bought the book. I think Tassie said she bought the book, and then it came out. Finally, it came out. Oh, she got her copy from Indonesia. Tassie did. But then she saw that it was available on Amazon, so she ordered it for me. Moon Blossoms. Katrina Palin. So this is our new book. I say our because we color together. So thanks so much, Tassie Tina. I don't think she's here now. Tassie Tina's in Oz, I think. I'm pretty sure she's in Oz. And so it's, I'm sure she's asleep by now. This So yeah. If you do watercolor paintings like I did in that the bunnies and bricks to start, you want to take your time. And granted, I do go a little fast on our streams because I want to get as much information in the shows as possible. Let me adjust my cord here is moving and it's causing my camera to move. There we go. So Katrina Palin, and I've just kind of briefly flipped through it. Moon Blossoms, an art book you can color, and it's really, really pretty. It's perforated. As of This Book Belongs To, copyright 2015, and again, Tassie said she got it from Indonesia, her copy. And it is going to flash out a little pink, but, we can deal. Okay, so she has a little story here about Tibet-Mongolian headdresses. The pages bleed with ordinary... Oh, I thought she was going to talk about the pages will bleed with a certain... But no, they mean that the pages are full of ornate, inky detail. Not that it's going to bleed. I was going to say, they already tested it out. From Asian fairy tales that could fuel one's wanderlust. You can tear them out. They stand on their own because they're one-sided. I highly recommend using watercolor pencils for best results. Markers, crayons, pencils, and watercolor will do just fine. A quick tip. Put a scratch paper between the sheets. We know that to prevent bleed through, especially if you're going to use any kind of alcohol markers. I'm not sure. I haven't tested any of these yet, We'll do a little test in the back or or somewhere. We'll do a test. You are free to color the illustrations however you want, but I encourage you to do a little research about the beautiful cultures and histories of the women in the illustrations. Let the maidens of, and I can't pronounce that, come to life. I don't want to mess up. I think it's Chinese. I don't want to mess up the language or the pronunciation. Travel with your colors from solemn temples. Anyway. Yeah. Okay, so sorry, I wasn't looking at chat for a minute. So I'm going to do a flip for you, and they are beautiful, detailed book. So I'm going to do a flip here. Hopefully, I think we're pretty much in camera. As close as I can get to show a full page. But you know what? It says to do research on, but unless there's something in the back, how do we know what's on what page? Yeah, there's nothing in the back saying like, the sitar and who this is, and it'd be a little tricky to do any research. Yeah, messing language is usually your job, Terry. But because they're perforated, you could just tear them out, and they're one-sided. So each one could be its own work of art. Isn't she beautiful? I'm liking this one, just saying. I might put a Post-it note on her. Can y'all see okay? Look at all the lanterns and the Chinese dragon. Going down the dresses, she's done the kimonos and the gowns and everything so ornate. Get your carts out, people. Get your Amazon open. I know we're terrible as enablers. Hey Marie, good to see you. Y'all know we're Color Book and other supply enablers around here. This one, you can see her heart right there. Her heart. Look how detailed, though. I mean, gonna have to see what we want to color with this, right? And I can just imagine this being gold lame chain, like chainmail. Can't you imagine that being chainmail? And then these have the floating lanterns all around her. And then here's the Bangkok. I think in Bangkok, Thailand, they do this dance. I forget what it's called. I used to know some of this stuff. I used to be smart. I used to be much more. I used to be much more smarter in my younger days. And she is just beautiful. I love her too. I don't know. This is a second here. I'm gonna put. Look at all these irises down here. Can you even see? Oh, thanks, Abby girl. Your husband liked the water. Oh, thank you, Abby Hubs. There we go. Got the flash off of it. See when I tilt it like this. See how her hair is a little white. It's really very black. There we go. I do my best with the camera lighting, and it did turn out pretty good today. So I'm not complaining. Look at that, guys. Lots of detail. Look at all those lanterns. I know. Isn't it gorgeous inking? I know. Look at that line art. Just stunning. More pages are vertical. It seems like I should just keep the book this way. No, there's a horizontal. I know that butterfly page. Look at the parasol. It's like everyone are in a garden. These definitely will need to be torn out and put in a book. But I think they're 9. I mean, it's probably bigger than 8.5 by 11. Let me measure one. You know, I'm talking about like for a, to put in sleeves. I think these are bigger than sleeves. Yeah, they're 11. So 8.5 by 11. It'd probably just barely fit in a sleeve in your page protectors, you know. Look at her. Oh, so lovely. Hey, Chatty Cathy, or Chatty Natty. Anybody else coming in? They're all just beautiful. All just so much detail in the floral. That one's pretty too. That would be pretty with this black. All this black right here. Oh, I don't know. This one's in the running. I have 3 of them in the running. Because this background black around some bright pink and yellow flowers. Oh, won't that be stunning, guys? She's got all these beads. It looks like beads around, all huge beads around her neck. I wish they would have had the costume, or the country at least. I mean, I can guess at a few, but I would love to be able to do these accurately. You know, do the country and do them accurately. Like these little Those could be black pearls. But I don't know. I don't know all of them. Look at the detail in that. Oh my gosh. And then this last one here. I'm not sure if she's supposed to be Native American because of the eagle. I'm guessing she is supposed to be Native American. I don't know. And I'm just guessing because of the eagle and kind of the headdress with the feathers. I don't know. But, so yeah, Moon Blossoms. Isn't it beautiful, guys? Katrina Palin and Tassie Tina gifted this to me. The eagle is Mongolian? Really? She's a falconer. Yeah, I know. I love that one too. Okay, so here's my choices. I have this one, which I love. I love all of them. Don't get me wrong. Then the next one I picked maybe to do is this one. And I'm thinking this is very tiny. Have to really get close. So I think I'm going to go between this one and this third one. I'm going to go between this one and this one. Because I'm thinking that background would be beautiful black. The feathers are on the bird, not her headdress. I don't know, look like, that's feathers right there, isn't it? That's feathers on her headdress. Or is that, you're saying it's behind the bird? Oh, the bird. Oh, you're saying the bird coming behind her. Yeah. Okay, well, that makes sense. But she's still, and it's an eagle. I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm going to go with, I might go with this one. Although that's tricky because it's vertical on the camera. People are saying number 1, number 3. Number 1, number 3. Y'all are liking the first one, this one. She's beautiful. Y'all want me to go with her? Half of y'all are going with 1 and half of y'all are going with 3. I'm just thinking this background, but the problem with doing this one is well, I'm going to zoom in anyway, but it's a little trickier for me to stream a vertical because like right here it's hitting me in the chest, you know. So, okay, before we do anything, let's go ahead and do a test. There's no back blank sheet, so we'll have to use a front sheet. Let's do a test on the intro here, this page. Let me get a piece of cardstock to put behind it. And let's test our supplies. You know? So we're going to put a piece of cardstock behind it. And let's do a couple, let's test a Copic first because we all know it's going to go through with the Copic. So let's do a Copic test here. And of course it went right through. But we want to make, you want to know, let's do, that's Copic. All right, let's do watercolor. Get my watercolors here. And I'm going to like try to oversaturate. I need fresh water. I'm going to have to get some fresh water. My water is dirty. But let's see. Okay, let's go with our, okay, there's just with a little bit of water. Now I'm going to, all right, so let's put, this is my Kuretake Gamzai. Let me just put Gamzai. Is it GMBS? Gamzai watercolor. Not that it matters if it goes through because it's a one-sided page. Okay, it's barely ghosting. See how you can just barely see it? Okay. Again, it doesn't really matter because they're perforating. I'm going to tear the pages out, so it's not going to matter if it goes through. I'm doing this for you guys' benefit. Then let's see. Of course, color pencils are not going to go through. Let's do a Neo Color wash. So I'm going to put down some Neo Color. Neo Color 2. And let me reiterate that. Neo Color 2. The Caran d'Ache Neo Color 2 are the water soluble ones. The Neo Color 1 are not water soluble. All right, where's my water brush here? All right, so let's just kind of, I'm almost trying to get a little bit extra just to, overstate it. So let's see what happens there. Okay, it started to come through. This paper's not thick, guys. It feels like it's got a nice coating on it, but it's not thick. It just has a bit of a coating. So there's that. I don't know yet, Melody. So there's that, and then now let's do a little bit of a acrylic paint test. I'm going to just squeeze out one little dollop of red. I always get more than a dollop. And remember, don't use your water brushes with your acrylic paint. Use a regular paintbrush. Okay. Okay. And what else do we need to try? So that did not go through. Acrylic paint did not go through. Oh, good idea, Jean. Super tips. Yeah. The super tip markers. The Crayola super tips. Good thinking, Jean. Nope, they don't go through either. So the acrylic paint, the super tips, don't go through. Now I can see just a tiny bit where I put the acrylic paint. It's a little bit of a buckle from the water, but it didn't go through. The Gamsai watercolor, because there's more water in that, you can barely see it ghosting. The Neo colors, because you have to add quite a bit of water to activate them, it kind of went through. So again, it's in this case it doesn't matter because they're one-sided perforated pages meant to tear out. So there we go. Now let's just make sure everything's dry before I turn the page. Alrighty. Let's do some gouache, just because I don't think it's going to be any different than the watercolor. But, now we want to test everything. All right, let's do the gouache. Okay. I got to move these little pallets out of my way. And the gouache did not go through. The gouache did not go through. So, I'm thinking we might go with gouache. Of course, if I do a background in black or something, that's going to be acrylic paint. But I'm thinking we might go with the gouache. Although, I just want to use my new watercolor so badly. Nothing saying you can't mix, All right. Let's make sure it's dry. So there's our little test. All right, so now let's go see what we want to do. Do we want to do this page? Or... I'm not going to do this one today. or this page? I think everybody's wanting me to do number 3, even though it's a vertical and I'll have to, you know. All right, so I'm going to tear this one out. So we're going to go with this one. Let me get a paper here. Now, let me stress this point. Let me get my gouache over here. Let me stress this, or well, not really stress it, but this page is just a little bit bigger than this page, 8.5 by 11. So if I go to color pencil, you want to make sure if you have something behind it like this, that you're not right on that line, because you're going to get a line. Do you know what I mean? It's going to like come through, the texture of whatever is going to come through. So if I'm color penciling this, and I'm right here on the line, it's going to make a line there. So you have to be careful to kind of shift your, you know, or get a bigger piece of paper, whichever you want to do, so that you don't do that. Yeah, I know I want to use my Gam's eyes too, but we might use both. But first I'm going to paint the background black anyway, right? So I don't even really need this right at this point, because the reason if I'm using just my desk, this is not pure, I mean, there's a little, I can feel some of those bumps and stuff from my supplies on here. And you don't want that. You want a perfectly smooth surface to work on. I could actually put it in my sketchbook so that it doesn't pick up any of these bumps, or, you know, little glue bumps or whatever. But right now I'm just going to paint the background black, so that's not going to bring up any bumps. Black acrylic paint. Okay, so let's get a little tray here, and I will just try to keep going, moving the page up and down, because I am going to zoom in just a little bit so that you can see a little closer. If you have any questions, put them in caps. If you're watching this on YouTube, the recording on YouTube, this is a live show on Ustream with a live, mostly awake chat audience. So I am talking to people. I'm chatty. We're talking. Hey, Kathy Kberg. Let me move my mouse over here. Okay. So I'm just going to start with some Americana Deco Art paint. It's just craft paint. You get it at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, whatever, you know, whatever you get craft paint at. I get the Americana that it doesn't say metallic, it doesn't say gloss, it doesn't say satin. It just doesn't say anything, but it's matte. So I am going to, let's move all my pencils that I'm working on my commission sitting right here. I don't want to put those away because I want these exact colors. So let's keep moving here. I know everybody's going to ask me about the book. If you're just joining us, we're coloring, or going to color in Moon Blossoms by Katrina Palin. And Tassie Tina sent this to me. She said she got her copy from Indonesia, but now it's on Amazon. So if you're looking to purchase this, okay. So let's go ahead and let me zoom in just a little here. That looks pretty focused, doesn't it? And I didn't put a ring on today. I'm having my wedding band and my rings resized. I'll tell you what, I never take my rings off. Does that look focused? Yeah. I never take my rings off, and I hadn't taken them off probably since, like, you know, I don't know, 15 years. I don't even remember the last time I took my rings off. And I could barely get them off. See, and I haven't worn them now. I took the rings off probably about 3 weeks ago, and look, you can still see the dents in my finger from the rings. So I had to take them off because they were like literally cutting into my finger, and it wasn't painful. I didn't even notice it. But look, So I took them off to let my hand heal, and I've been wearing a bigger, like just some bands that I have, but today I just forgot to put them on. So I'm having my wedding rings up a half size or whatever. Yeah, I think we're calling the magazine journal thing. Let's see, what did we call it? Mind mapping, idea collecting, prompt playground. So, and Erin's already made fun of the hashtag, but that doesn't matter. We're wing nuts. We can have funny hashtags. MMICPP. Mind mapping, idea collecting, prompt playground. So have a good laugh, and now let's move on. But if you are doing anything I did scrape some paint off here. I scraped some paint off in my magazine journal, my mini magazine, mind mapping, idea collecting. Anyway, so if you want to show any of your pages, then hashtag it with that. Okay. MMICPP. The thing is, well, yeah, it's just easier, Terry. Let's just leave off the mini magazine, because some people are not doing the mini magazine. They're doing full magazine. So if you just do mind mapping, or the MM could stand for mini magazine. Mind mapping, idea collecting, prompt playground. So, okay, so let's go ahead. And you know what, though, I probably should put something down, because I'm going to go right off the edge. So let's get here. I'll put down a piece of paper here behind it. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and start. And I'm going to just start with the black acrylic paint. I'm probably going to have to get a smaller brush, because I do want to get around these. Hang on. Let's see. Or a pointier one. Let's see. These are kind of rough. Let's see. A new one with the point. All right. Always at least wet your brush. I don't want water in it, but I don't want to start with a perfectly dry brush, because that can ruin your brush. Okay, so we're going to do, again, it's a little pink, but I think we're going to, and I'll try to stay back on the end of the brush so you can see. If you have any questions, put them in caps. We'll see how long this takes, but we like coloring together. If you are watching the recording and you don't like watching color book and paint dry, that little red X in the corner. And you don't have to get like right up in that little area there. I can get in there with a pencil probably better, or at least as well. So if you feel like you can't paint right up in an area, then just do that little section with pencil. Do you think was glue and then it would what? Okay, I've used duct tape on my magazines. The trick to holding the magazines into, and Mary, if y'all know the Mary Altier, sorry guys, let me get a sip of coffee. She just did a video doing one, and she's having problems with the books coming apart from the spine. Remember when I was making mine, and I told you I was sitting there squeezing it, trying to get it to dry? That's the most important part of making those books, is you've got to get the spine. And remember I said put books on it, let it dry, don't rush ahead, let it dry overnight, because that's the trickiest part to the magazine journals, is getting the spine. Because when you glue the book together, the magazines together, you know, you're gluing a lot of glue from a cover to a cover, and that's fine. It's the spine when you do the wraparound. And yes, you could use duct tape, but still, even it's got to have so much glue holding all those magazines together on the spine part, on where here. You have got to have a ton of glue. I mean, it was oozing out. The glue was oozing out of here. You've got to have this so glued down. And then hold it down really tight, put books on it, let it dry really, 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 really well overnight. So if you're just using glue, you can do all kinds of things to it. But if you just want to use glue, and I just use Eileen's Tacky, and unwrap it here. The thing about using duct tape is duct tape. I still use glue. Duct tape can pull away, but if you really, really, really glue some paper to this, now this is cardstock, right? This is like cardstock weight scrap paper. It's the thicker of the scrapbook paper. It's not just a paper. So I would recommend a heavy. Now there is bookbinding tape. There's bookbinders tape that you could use that will hold it. That's the trickiest part of making one of those. No, let me hold the. Yeah, I mean, whatever you think. I mean, the more secure it is, the better. And again, working back to front, front to back, some in the middle will reduce the stress on the spine. I've never tried rubber cement on it. I haven't used rubber cement since advertising days. I don't even, do they even sell rubber cement? Sorry guys, slept with the fan blowing in my face all night, and that does my voice in. So this is a Friday impromptu. I wasn't going to stream today because I have a project due on Monday, and I didn't want to work on the weekend, but Jean, I mean, she asked polite. So, yeah. So right in here, I can get in here with paint, or if you don't feel comfortable getting in some of those areas, then you wait and go in there with your pencil, I'll probably get kind of as tight as I can, but I'm not really worried about getting right up to the stem. But it's totally up to what you want to do and feel comfortable doing. Gotta have a nice pointy brush though. That's important. Don't try to do it with a jacked up brush. Yeah, now I could put duct tape on my spine now. That would help make the paper wrap more secure. And I did put duct tape on some of my large magazine journals, but it was after I wrapped them. It was like a second security blanket around the spine, but that's not, that extra wrap of duct tape is not going to prevent your magazines from pulling out. That's all going to be on the paper and the glue that you started initially. So if you have any questions, this would probably be a good time to get out the chat pack, because this is going to take me a while. And I don't know that I'll do the whole thing while we're chatting. I might move on to something else just so you all can see something else. But if I was sitting here doing this by myself, I'd do all the black, even if it took an hour or two, before doing anything else. But because I'm streaming and y'all will get bored watching black paint dry, I will move on to some other, like the flowers or something, after doing about, some of the black anyway. I do want to get all the way around her, the little frame here though. Yeah, this was called, and I'll show it every now and then, Moon Blossoms by Katrina Palin. This is the book. And it's a long book. It's like 11, let me see how wide. I didn't measure the width, did I? It's 11 by 9. So it won't fit in your typical 8.5 by 11 page protectors. So I'll have to use like my 12 by 12 page protectors. If you want to put your larger pages in page protectors, Hobby Lobby always has their page protectors. They're the paper Studio brand. That is the brand of Hobby Lobby. Well, any store you can get them. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be that brand. It's just that they're the least expensive. If you just want some page protectors, 12 by 12, and then you can put your 12 by 12 pages in a 12 by 12 book if you want. I mean a 9 by 11 page in a 12 by 12 page protector and put them in a 12 by 12 book. Because I have those, I have tons of scrapbook books and stuff from scrapbooking too. So if you're a real dedicated color book artist, colorist, then you'll probably want to save these nice pages that you spend a lot of time on in a binder. I mean, these would be even pretty framed, I think, if you had the right decor for them. I have no walls, so I don't really have wall space. Well, in my great room, I do, but this doesn't go in there. This kind of, you know, I have a couple pieces of my art hanging around, but I'm not. I like. I have some nice large paintings in there that I didn't do because I don't really like my art hanging around. I've told y'all this before. I have my Brad's boots up here in the hallway, and I have my pointillism one down in the great room. But I find that if I have my own art hanging around, and in here I have none because it's wall-to-wall shelves, literally and Jean's and my Mona Lisa on one wall, and then it's shelves all completely around. So I have no wall space in here. Make sure that's so. I find that if I have my own artwork hanging around, it kind of keeps me in that time period or whatever that I don't grow as much because I like, oh, I like this, I'm going to hang this thing up, I like this that I did and I like it so much and I want to keep doing something like this, then I want to keep doing something like that. And I don't really want to keep doing something like that. I want to keep growing. Oh, thanks, Prisma. Do you say you have Brad's boots, Prisma? I was showing y'all that watercolor painting. Brad's boots. My gosh, you girls, I swear. But it's going to make these flowers very, and again, you don't have to do the black first. I like doing it first because it kind of like sets a tone for me. And then if I get pencil or anything else somewhere that I don't, you know, that went out of the lines or anything, I'll just fix that with color pencil. Like when I did this, here, let me show you. On the bunnies and bricks, on this page, like let's just say here. So when I colored this stem green, if I got pencil on the black acrylic paint, I just fixed it with a black pencil. I just went over it with black pencil if I got out of lines or anything. So you don't have to really worry about if, like when I'm doing these stems here, if I get that color on the black, I'll just go over it with black pencil and fix it. All right, so let's come back over on this side now. I'm trying to stay, again, we are It's a vertical page on a horizontal screen. Okay, my I think my cord is blowing in the fan here. I gotta move my fan just a little. It's making my camera cord swing. There we go, that's better. Jean says she likes doing the darkest area first. Good comparison for the other tones. Yeah, I do too. I think I like that the best. I don't always do it that way. But I think I'm going to try to hold my paintbrush far back so that my hand is not in the way of. And it is a little puffy, so I'm kind of holding it down a little so it doesn't bounce. If you've not been in one of these chats, these girls, I swear, they're a hoot. Hoot and a half. Hoot nanny. Yeah, let me do this one little area that I'll get out of chat pack and we'll ask a question. Keep y'all focused. Because I see where Prisma's trying to take y'all. That's not a good place. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. So we'll get out the chat pack. And the chat pack is our little conversation starters. Okay, there with the sun. Oh my gosh. The sun's coming out. All right, let's see here. I'm going to get out a few questions out of the middle. See, they're just little cards like this, you know. All right, let's see. Let's see. That's too long. That's one of these was what's your favorite quote. That's a lot of typing in there. It's Eileen's fault. Ungrumpy pants last night. Oh yeah, were y'all talking about Jen's? I didn't get to go to Jen's, but I'm thinking y'all are talking about it. Jen's, Jen, for her show. She said she was going to record. Hopefully she recorded. I haven't had a chance to, go watch it. Okay, let's see. Nah. Okay, here's one. What is the most exciting event you have ever witnessed? The most exciting event you have ever witnessed. I'm going to turn this just a little, guys, so I can get in here on this side. And put it in caps, your answers, so I can read them. More about what Eileen tweeted. Oh, I didn't see what Eileen tweeted. Oh, brother. Eileen said when she was born. Oh my gosh, Eileen. Now, Eileen, I know better than that because I've heard some of your stories. Okay, Terry Trouble said Green Day concert. It was a spectacle. Prisma said the birth of her boys. Everybody's talking about the birth of their babies. Okay, let's say other than the birth of your children. Let's say what else besides that? Because everybody's saying their birth. Okay, so let's move on from the birth. Other than the birth of your children, what's the most exciting event you have witnessed? Okay, because everybody's saying that. Aaron, the release of Fallout 4. Oh my gosh. That's the most exciting event in your life, Aaron? Oh, gee. Terry's going to stand by her Green Day concerts. Somebody else said Bryan Adams in concert. Gene, Hubster has seen the Blue Man Group. It was years ago, but yeah, he said they're hilarious. He saw them on a business thing that they went to. And I'm trying not to have any lumps and lines. I'm trying to keep it smooth here with the acrylic paint because there's no water in this. Erin says she lives a humble life. Oh, you saw the Beatles in '65, Terry. The Christmas, that's when the Nintendo Switch came out. Oh my gosh, you girls, I swear. Marilee said Whitney Houston. So we got a lot of concert faves. Corrine said when she saw Styx. Jen said performing in Walt Disney World. Oh, did you perform in Walt Disney, Jen? Shalene says flying a small plane with a friend over the area where you lived. Oh, that would be cool too. Now I do Google Earth. I don't want to fly. I'll do Google Earth. If I want to see what something looks like from afar, from overhead. Terry was 12 and her dad took, oh, you and your best friend. That's awesome. All right, Prisma, you're hysterectomy. Although, yeah, that can be an awesome thing if you're in a lot of pain. So it's sad, but someone is so just missing man formation. Yeah, I know the Challenger, that was, I mean, and 9/11, seeing it on TV, that was very, very, a very dramatic thing to see. Aw, Button, that's awesome. Landing in Iceland. Jean said landing in Iceland at 11 p.m. with the sun shining. I know. That's when we got into Alaska. We drove to Alaska in the summer, and it was never getting dark. And, I mean, we knew of the situation that it stays light 22 hours, you know. But until you see it, or the northern lights. Seeing the northern lights, that's awesome, too. Having champagne with Robin Leach, Lindair? Did you really? Oh, I bet that is cool. Julie Topaz said seeing the mass ascension of hot air balloons at the Fiesta in Albuquerque. That would be cool. Suzanne met Bryan Adams and ticked him off because I wouldn't let him cook his own breakfast. Oh, you worked in a hotel as a server. Okay. You wouldn't let him cook his own. At first I thought you said you tickled Bryan Adams. Like, tickle, tickle, tickle. Suzanne. Hey, Debbie. Yes. Yeah, Debbie has seen the Northern Lights when she worked there as a baby photographer. Aww. In Alaska. Now my brush is getting crusty with dried paint, so I do have to kind of clean the brush out and get the excess crusty paint that's drying on my brush. So you will have to clean your brush every now and then because it starts caking in there, you know, and then it starts spreading the hair, and then you don't have a point. And we got to keep a point. Jean said, when my school choir got to sing "Oh Canada" and the Star Spangled Banner at the Sky Dome for a Blue Jays game. Oh, Jean, you've done more in your life than, I don't know, half of us done, and being disability and 90% blind. I don't see how Jean does what she does. Just saying. Oh, the question is, what is the most exciting event you have ever witnessed, Kate, other than birth of a baby? Because everybody starts saying, oh, when my son was born, when my daughter was born. Yeah, other than that. What's the next exciting thing? The next exciting. Riding down the coast on a Vespa, Le Bookworm. On a Vespa. Ugh. I've ridden Vespas. I don't think I'd want to go that far on a Vespa. Did your butt survive? You're pretty sure Jean's a witch? Debbie says we were a balloon catcher and didn't realize we're supposed to literally catch the balloon. Oh, I'm not sure I understand that one, Debbie. How are you a balloon catcher? Am I missing something there? I probably missed half the thing. Marie says she's been to the Grand Ole Opry. I'm trying to read as many as I can, guys, while I'm painting. And trying to keep it in camera here. Your divorce. Prisma, are you sure it wasn't the comedy show that you were performing at? Funny. Oh, visiting the Grand Hotel in Mackinac Island in Michigan. The Grand Hotel. Is that the one that The Shining was filmed at? Or am I got the wrong big hotel? I forget which hotel that was filmed at. Okay, I gotta clean my brush again. It's starting to cake up. Lose my point. Driving from Oxford to Edinburgh. You beat the oh, you wanted to beat the train from Oxford to Edinburgh. Oh, The Shining was the one in Colorado? Kate said, been there. That's what Kate said, been there. Going to the ruins in Cambodia. Oh, now that would be cool. My son-in-law has been there to the ruins in Cambodia. Dan? I think he has been to those. Pretty sure. That's the okay. Yeah, the Stanley Motel is the one. That's the motel, like the Bates Motel. The Stanley. I'll have to tell y'all a Bates Motel story. The Stanley Hotel in Colorado is where The Shining. Yeah, when Hubster and I were driving to Alaska. Now we got to remember back then, guys, there was no internet. This was in '83. We drove to Alaska from San Antonio. We were going to live there for 3 years. And so we were going to make a vacation out of it. Our daughters were staying at the grandparents' house for the summer. It was the summer. So we could drive up there, get settled in, and then fly them up there before school started. So we drove up. We took 2 weeks to drive to, I mean, we did it on purpose, took 2 weeks. Oh, you were on the Carol Duvall show? Oh, Debbie, did a project? I want to hear what the project was on the Carol Duvall. So, of course, we remember Carol Duvall. What was the team I'm on? Oh, you got a limo ride to the Phillies game, and you had the second row seats. Nice, Prisma. How long does it take to drive? Well, see, that's what I was just saying, Suzanne. We took 2 weeks. Or K-Moore is asking. We took 2 weeks because I have relatives up in the Northwest, and we wanted to, go to, all those things, sites and stuff on the way. And so we took it like a vacation. It doesn't take 2 weeks, but it is 5,000 miles. It's 2,500 miles from San Antonio to Seattle. And then it's another 2,500 miles through British Columbia, the Yukon, Canada, and all that, and then back down into Anchorage. So it's a 5,000-mile trip. So however long it takes to drive 5,000 miles. We need to ask Jen. Jen Oz knows how long it takes to drive 5,000 miles. Anyway. Oh, wait. Debbie says, I was wearing a pizza hat on her head at a scrapbooking convention. Carol Duvall interviewed you. Oh, nice, Debbie. Do you have a copy of that tape? We need to see it. Just saying. Carol Duvall is a craft lady that did a craft show for years and years on TV, on like Home and Garden or Discovery or one of those. I don't even remember what channel she was on now. A pizza box hat. Oh my gosh, Debbie. So anyway, my Bates motel thing. So we were staying, we would just drive till we got tired and then find a hotel and stay in. I mean, sometimes we had a specific, destination to get to that day. But we stayed, it was somewhere in, actually just came to me. It was Belen, New Mexico. Now, again, guys, this was in '83. That I'm sure that hotel's, let's hope it's not still in business. But anyway, it reminded me of the Bates Motel. It was so old and creepy, but there was nothing else there. Nothing. It was like in the middle of nowhere. So we went in there, and as soon as we got, there were bugs everywhere. It was nasty. I said, I can't stay here. He said, well, we have to stay here. There's no place else. It was like, 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever. I got my, I always have my own pillow. And I got my stuff together and I slept in the car. I was not sleeping in that hotel. So I slept in the car or in the truck. We were in a SUV. In a Tahoe. Club Scrap. Oh, Club Scrap used to send their kids, yes, in pizza boxes. Yes, I know that, yeah. I had the idea of all of us Club Scrappers to make hats so we could find each other at the convention. So she was at the convention. That's what you're saying, Debbie. So Carol Duvall was at the convention and interviewed y'all. That's awesome. I didn't think I thought it was going to take longer for me to do this, but look, I'm almost all the way around here. Yeah, you slept in the car. I did sleep in the car taps. It was bad. I said, no freaking way. No, I didn't see any dead mothers there. But I didn't see many live people there either. Again, it was out in the middle of nowhere, guys, when we were driving, so. A lot of it we camped out on the way. We camped out, ate MREs. Well, I don't know if y'all know what that is, but anyway, like Army food. And camped out on the way. And I did get a picture. Now, Hubster, if he's watching this, he's probably going to go, oh my gosh, don't tell that story. But, yeah, he took the roll of toilet paper and headed out to the woods and said, I'll be back in a minute. I'll be back in a few minutes. And the next thing I see, him running, well, trying to run, with his pants down, heading my way, smacking his butt. He was attacked by mosquitoes out in the woods. I don't even remember where we were. If we were in Canada or the Northwest somewhere, where the mosquitoes were horrendous. And he was covered in mosquito bites. No, I didn't care for the TV show, Prisma. I didn't watch the TV show. I'm talking about the movie. We're old around here, Prisma. Sound like a Dean Koontz book, yeah. Anyway, so. I used to love, what was that? And, I was more in science fiction all my life, but I did read a lot of, what's his name? Wrote The Stand. Why is his name just slipping my mind? Y'all they're going, oh my gosh, that's so-and-so. What's his name? He's still writing. I can't think of his name, though. He wrote The Stand. Anyway, I used to read all his books, every one of his books, years ago. I'm talking about, back in the 70s, 80s. Until he came out with Cujo. That put me off. Yeah, Cujo put me off. It was like, meh. Hi, Karen. Stephen King. Yeah, Stephen King. I used to love Stephen King because I think the first book I read of his was The Stand, and I went, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And I read all his books up until Cujo, and that it wasn't just, I don't know. It kind of made my starstruck, star set, if you will. Yeah, I was like, oh no, Stephen King, Cujo. Okay, so there we go. So look how cool that looks. You're still reading Stephen King, yeah. Yeah, well, I kind of figured that Taps ghost lover. I kind of figured. And the same thing with Ghost Hunters Taps. The Ghost Hunter guys. I love that show when they were Roto-Rooter guys just going out and investigating ghost sightings and stuff. And then they all do that though. They get so commercial or something. I mean, not that they're necessarily real or anything, but I enjoyed it when they were just a couple of guys, with the Roto-Rooter truck going out investigating, taps. They were taps. I missed a spot in the top right corner. Oh, I did. Thank you. Where were you, CMC, last night? When I I posted it before I even noticed it, or I wouldn't have posted it. In my Bunnies and Bricks, there was one pot that I didn't finish shading, and I posted it everywhere: Instagram, Facebook, in my Facebook color book, Twitter. And then I noticed I missed one pot, and I tweeted, and so I made a joke out of it. I tweeted Jean, and I said, "Hey, Jean, don't tell anybody, but I missed that pot, and don't tell anybody." I said it on Twitter, right? I did that on purpose. Ghost Hunters when they first started. Yeah, I know. And again, it's very hard for me to like a movie after I've read the book. And I always try to read a book before I see a movie. Because I want to know the original story, not what it's been changed into as a movie. And the books are always better. The books are always better than the movie. The only book that I've ever read, and now, again, I'm not a big movie goer anymore. It's just too dang loud. Don't tell me that, oh, you're just getting old, because no, I'm telling you, they've upped the volume in those theaters. Surround sound, Dolby, I don't know. But they are more extra, they're louder than any concert I went to in the 70s. And I sat in some close quarters in the 70s. Anyway, they're way, 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 way too loud. Where was I going with this? Oh, so anyway, the books are always better than the movies. And again, haven't done a lot of movie going book comparison these days, but the book that was the closest to the movie that I ever saw was The Godfather. And the Godfather book was like this thick, right? But the movie and the book were so close. I was amazed at how well they made the movie compared to the book. That was the only time I've ever known a book and a movie to be that simpatico. Okay, so now let's see where we're going from here. And, like if you've ever read Shogun or The Thornbirds or any of those made for TV, I don't know. For me, here's the thing. I guess maybe in my imagination, I can imagine it so well that when they have to really up their game in a movie for me to be impressed. Because I got a good imagination when I'm reading. Okay, so anyway. Have one exception, that real Forrest Gump, the book. No, I didn't read Forrest Gump, Julie Topaz. I think I started it. Something happened. I don't know if we moved. I don't remember. But I didn't finish reading Forrest Gump, so I can't compare that to the movie. I missed what movie of Taps? You're excited for what new movie? Tap says she's excited for some new movie. Captain Underpants will be coming. I've actually read those books. So has Cam. And all the, what's that other one? There's a whole series. They're still making them. Because I even asked Cam. Now, Cam's 17, and he's been reading, he's been reading adult books since he was 12. So, I don't, but anyway, I asked him, I said, oh, Cam, would you like me to buy the new book? He just looked at me and went, Nana. Like, but just for nostalgic reasons, will you read it for me? He went, no. What's that one called? But it's not Captain Underpants, but it's something like that. I think I still have some in the other room. Let me go see if I do have it. I don't know if I have them here. Let me see. Okay, I'm pulling out a couple of them here. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Oh my gosh. Have y'all ever read Diary of a... I mean, they made 2 movies out of it. But it's not the same. It's not the same. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Yes, Aaron got it. Yeah. The movie is just not the same. Anyway, so when the new Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Cameron's over there looking at, horror movie books or, anyway. And I'm saying, would you like to read the new edition of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid? And the look on his face was like, Nana. There's new Ramona Beverly. Was it Beverly Cleary? Beverly Cleary books? Is that what you're talking about, Aaron? Yeah. Annie and Denise read those when they were young. Cam and Boo I don't think they ever read the Beverly Cleary Ramona books. I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah, and I like mysteries anymore too, Eileen. I read a lot of social science books, but if I'm reading fiction, I want it to be a mystery anymore. Pretty much that's all I read. English mysteries, British mysteries. British mysteries are my favorite books to read anymore. Eileen. But, okay, so there's a little bit of a pink tint to the white, but there we go. I gotta keep crack-a-lacking here. So now I think I am going to move into, everybody really wants me to use my new, I think I might just do both. I might use some gouache. I might use some of my new gouache. And I might use some of my new Gansai Tambi Kuretake set. This is what Denise got me. Well, she got me a Hobby Lobby card. Muggy Maggie. Okay, I missed that whole thing, Jean. Jean, I think y'all are talking about your favorite kid books now, I think. Maybe not. Anyway, so now I read, Jean reads, well, Jean has audiobooks. Jean is a audio book, I won't say, but y'all think y'all know what I'm talking about. She reads a lot of, she read her audio book. I mean, I've never known anyone, of course her sight, that's why she listens to all audio books. And I need to try to do that. I have to, and I confessed this a couple weeks ago. I have never, ever listened to one single audio book in my life, ever. Never, ever. But I probably should. I would probably listen to an audio file. There you go. That's not what I was thinking, Aaron. I'm going to type it in. I'm not going to say it. But an audio file, yeah. And thank you, Aaron, for rescuing me. I was censored. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh. So anyway, um, I should though. I should listen to. Yeah, but listening to podcasts, I'll listen to things like that. But reading a book, an audio book, I've never listened to. I've never listened to an audio book, and I should. So, okay, we'll continue on the book chat in here in a second. And if y'all don't follow Book Nester, Jen, Reading with Pug, Shalene, they're colorists, but they also do book readings well, not book readings, but they talk about books, book reviews and stuff like that. So they're big readers, and they talk about they talk about their books and while they're coloring too. That's how I found Book Nester, Jen, Reading with Pugs, and Shalene. I think I found them all connected through books, not coloring. Yeah, I know, and I really should, Jean, because here's the thing with my trifocals, I cannot read like the little paperbacks anymore. You know, your little smaller books. Like for instance, I'd love to read the Cadfael series again, but they only come in the little books. They don't come in, and I'm not even talking about that I need large print, but even just like a regular hardback. I cannot read paperbacks anymore comfortably. And of course, I can read them on you can read them on Kindle and your Nook and all that. But again, it's not a real book. I have a Nook, and I have the Kindle app, and I could read all the books I want on the iPad. But it's not the same. And I have to let me get started here. Even Cam, and bless it, I mean he's like an old soul, I'll tell you. I got him a Nook for Christmas one year, or birthday. This was years ago when they first came out, or the second year they came out, the Nook. Got him one because he's such a big reader. Thought he would love it. Well, he kept it for about 3 months. And he said, Nana, I just don't really like it. It's not the same. I want real books. And if you start talking to him about ebooks taking over real books, he literally starts getting teared up. He does not even want to think of ebooks ever replacing hardback, real books. And I'm the same way. I like to feel it in and magazines, the other thing. I can't do an e-magazine. I mean, I've done a few, but it's not the same. An e-magazine is just not the same as that slick paper in your hand. Okay, let's see here. I'm not getting very far. Let's see about, I still have a little bit of skin tone here. Let me just see about mixing that. Oh, see, all right, my water's dirty. Okay, hang on, guys. I've got to get fresh water. I won't get pure color. Hang on. Let me get some water here. Okay, yeah, my water was really almost black. It's so dirty, so I had to get some fresh water. And if you're watching this show on, YouTube, it's a chatty show. Just saying. If you don't like chatty shows, this show is probably not for you. Ooh, look at that. That looks good. That'd be a good thumbnail right there. I think I'm going to take a picture of this real quick. That's an awesome thumbnail right here for... Sorry, it just kind of caught my attention. Where's my phone? Let me take a picture of this for the thumbnail. It is a chatty show. I'm talking to live people. So if you don't like a chatty show, don't leave me a nasty gram. Just click on out. All right, so let's take a picture here of this. I think that one will be good for a thumbnail. Okay, so... I can't do computer. Yeah, I love Digi. I gotta say, I love Digi art. I love what's capable of that you can do quickly. and realistically with Photoshop and stuff. I love it, but I don't know it well enough to do what I want to do with it. So I just rely on watching Eileen's digi work. Because I haven't had, I mean, I can do a few things. You know, I've got Photoshop, I've got Photoshop Elements, and I've got all kinds of Photoshop programs, or, you know, not Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop, but I have Adobe Photoshop Elements, but other photo programs, you know, that you can do stuff with. But I've not had the time to learn it well. And I'm the kind of person, y'all know, I'll spend 4 years learning one thing before I move on to something else. And I don't have 4 years right now to learn as well as I would like without a tutor, you know, without someone sitting there literally showing me step by step what to do. I'd have to learn it on my own, which I'm fully capable of doing. I learn a lot of things on my own, but it's the time. It's the time. Is a thumbnail? Yeah, a thumbnail. If you know, right when you go look at my YouTube channel, you see all the pictures of my videos. Every video has its own little picture. That's a thumbnail in video world. I mean, a thumbnail can be a tiny sketch. They just call it a thumbnail because it's a tiny little slice of a photo, a little mini picture, if you will. I took a picture of this right here, like this. I took a picture right here for my video thumbnail, for my YouTube thumbnail. That's what I took a picture of. So, no, I just took a picture to post. The picture I just took was for the thumbnail for my YouTube videos. Okay. All right. So now let me get my clean water here. And I'm going to go back in here. This is my gouache that we used last week. I'm just going to, gouache will reconstitute. It's like an opaque watercolor. So I'm going to pick up some of I mixed some red and orange here and got me a nice peach color. Add a little bit of white, and I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. So I'm going to mix that color up and make me a nice pretty skin tone for our Asian lady here. And a little bit more water. And remember, it's not going to matter if it goes through now because it's, I mean, I don't care if it goes through because, of course, the acrylic paint did not go through. Because it's one-sided. I tore this out of the book. And again, if you're just joining us, this is the book that we're coloring in, Moon Blossom. Actually, I should probably have a picture. Usually when I do a color book first go at a color book, I post the cover of the book. So I'll probably post this as my thumbnail because this is the first time I've used this book. Thereafter, I can post a picture, you know, out of the book because then that initial book has been seen. And I like when I initially post a color book to have the cover shown so everybody knows what the cover looks like. And you only can have one thumbnail per video, right? So, yeah. So I think I'll go ahead and post the cover of the book so that everybody can see what the book looks like. That's more important. Okay, so let's see here. Let me start here on her hand. I'm just going to, you know, put a nice wash over her whole hand here. Then I'll go back and shade. And this is very tiny. I'm not, other than like the big flowers that I can put a wash over the whole thing, I'm not painting every bit of this with paint. I'm just painting the initial first wash over the large areas because I don't want to paint all, I mean I could, it would take me a while, but I could paint all this with a watercolor. But I don't want to. It's too time consuming. I want to get right into the coloring, not just painting. If I was going to paint this, it would be kind of cool to make it bigger, like where you could paint a big piece. So this is just the initial color over her whole face, and it's in the gouache. I'm kind of tilting it just a little, but I really need it kind of flat to color in, because well, there, see, it's flashing out anyway. But I think y'all can see it. And I'll shade it here in a minute. I'm just getting a nice wash on. So, is that part of her dress? Yeah, that's a sleeve. That's some kind of a, no, is that her arm? I'm going to go with that. That's her arm, and that this right here is part, but it kind of looks like a little flap of something. It could go either way. It could be her arm, but I don't think her arm's that exposed. Her arm's covered up with fabric, so that can't be her arm. This has to be a piece of fabric. So I'm going to roll with that that's fabric, and that her other arm is like somewhere not here. Because I see that little V there. That's a piece of fabric, I think. So, do I want a lot of pink, a lot of red? I gotta decide some orange. I want it bright and happy. Because I was thinking that these would be pretty pink. Let's see. Let me see what kind of pink I want it to be a, I don't have a lot of space on this mini palette, but I'm using the mini palette because it fits on the camera for you guys. I have the big one, the big palette I bought at the same time. So I'm going to add some white here to that kind of magenta color. Now I'm watering it down. It's kind of a contradiction to use an opaque watercolor and water it down so it's translucent. But I just want to play with these colors, right? So let's see what happens here. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and just do these blossoms with a wash of this pretty pink. And then we'll shade with pencil. This is, whether you use a watercolor, Neocolor, a watered down acrylic paint, any of it to do a wash on your color book pages, it kind of speeds up the process and also gives you a base to work on, so you're not trying to do color pencil on just a white something, you know, it gives you something to work on top of, and it gives it a little tooth so that your pencil has a little grab to it. Okay, let's go down here. I got to mix up a little more. And I know I should clean my brush before I pick up the next. I know I'm bad about that. Yeah, I am. Yes, it is Friday. And it's kind of an impromptu stream for me because I don't stream every Friday. I stream every Monday and Wednesday if you're watching this recording. I stream every Monday and Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern. I know that's early for the West Coast gals, but that's when I stream. And then an occasional Friday. And I wasn't going to stream today because I have a commission I want done by Monday, and I want to go hang out at the bookstore tomorrow with my gift card from Annie that she gave me for Mother's Day. So I want to do that tomorrow. And Hubster wants to go see the new Prometheus movie. I won't go see it. He can go see it by himself. Too loud. Comes out on you know, I can watch it at home. I will. It's just too dang loud. Trying to get husband home all day. Yes, this is gouache. Yes, it is, DeMonte. This is my little gouache palette, but I'm really wanting to use my new Kuretake ones here too. This is the watercolor, just watercolor. And then these are just the Hobby Lobby brand Fine Touch, or what is it called? Anyway, gouache set. Inexpensive. This is great for color books though, guys. That or watered down acrylic paint is perfect for color books. I'm not going to, well, you can do what you want. Do you make the wash darker in some spots? Yeah, with the gouache, it's kind of, you can see a little bit of variation, but the gouache is kind of opaque and it doesn't do the watercolory look like a watercolor will. Like when you saw me do the bunnies and bricks, how the bricks left the little water bloom. The watercolors do that better, like make it more modelly. The gouache is more opaque, kind of like if you're using an acrylic paint. It'll be more of a flat kind of wash, even though you can see a little bit of separation of the color because it's watered down. And the same thing with if you water down your acrylic paint. Now, when I'm doing these backgrounds, there's no water at all. No water. That's how I get that flat color. Although some colors like lime green or red, they might take 2 coats on a background because they're kind of more of a translucent color. But watercolors will do all that mottled look. It'll look, like this. It'll be all watery looking. Gouache doesn't quite do that. Okay, this looks like one of these little flowers here too. But whatever you want to use, I use all of it, almost interchangeably. I'll use almost yeah, I'm impressed with the Kuretake paints as well, Valerie. And the box looks like this. This is a set of, I think, 24? Here's what the box looks like. It's all in Japanese. I'm gonna have to go get some more hot coffee, guys. I like them. They're rich colors. I don't know. Do you shake it up well, Erin? Make sure you got to shake these up well because the binder, the oils and the binders in them will separate if they sit for even a couple of days. Here, let me grab one. Here, I'll show you. This one's been sitting for, look, see? That's what happens if you don't shake them up. And as soon as you shake it, it's all mixed up again. If you don't, you got to make sure they're shook up well. Do a coloring book page. I think I would use my clean colors. And Eileen, I've done some clean color pages too. I sent you one. I sent Eileen one that I did with the clean color water brushes. Maybe, or you know what? Let me pull them out. Let's do a couple. Let's do something with it, just because. Because we can. The other thing that we haven't done is we haven't used, remember I wanted us to use the twinkling H2Os that I've had for, I don't know, 15 years. My twinkling H2O watercolors. They're like a shimmery watercolor. And I keep swearing we're going to use these. And we haven't yet. That will be, that's another thing I should pull out and use. But the Zig Kuretake Real Brush Watercolor, anything Kuretake is going to be good. And Zig and Kuretake, I guess, teamed up. Let me think of what color. Maybe a yellow. Do I want a nice... This is what they look like. Zig Clean Color Real Brush. Now let me just start by saying they're not cheap, but they're not a marker. This is a real brush. That's why they're called real brush and real watercolor. These are not like the Crayola Super Tip kids markers that are just like water based. This is real watercolor in a brush. Okay, so it's highly concentrated and a real brush. It's a tiny little brush. Can you see? I probably picked a bad color to show. But I don't know if I want these to be yellow or not. And I only have this yellow and an orange yellow. So I don't have like an off shade. But you know what? Let's go ahead and do it because, oh wait, is that a, Is that one of the pink flowers there? Yeah, I think that's one of the pink ones. Hang on while my pink is wet here. Let me go ahead and put some pink on this one. So, you know, if you want to mix it up and test your supplies with different things, I don't know. I don't mind doing different things. You just got to remember in your head, if you're using it in an art journal, the difference of using, you know, just using it something here on a color book page, and there's another pink one, is that you have to kind of know which things are going to be reconstitutable, like what things will re-wet and which things won't. Gouache and anything watercolor, the neo colors, they'll all re-wet, okay? If you get them wet again, they'll move. Whereas the black paint here, that's acrylic. It's not moving. So if you do a wash of acrylic or even a solid acrylic, it won't move again. But water-based mediums will move again. Oh, they make the same product without the real brush too. It's bullet tips, so make sure. Yeah, that's a good point. They do. They make the watercolor Zig Kuretake. I don't know if it's Zig and Kuretake that does the other kinds of bullet tip. So you do want to make sure that you get the one that says real brush. Get the one that says real brush, because there's a marker one too. Okay, so let's see. Do I want these yellow though? I'm not quite sure I want them yellow. We'll go for it. So you can see it's watercolor in a brush, and I'm just going to go over the whole thing again because I'm going to shade each little petal with a pencil. But I'm just going to go over this whole thing. You see how bright and vibrant they are? Or maybe you can. But using a brush like this, here's the drawback of using a color like this in a brush, is that you're not going to get that watercolor. Well, I mean, I could skip areas. See how I just kind of skipped over some? But it's going to be a solid color. You're not going to get a watercolor wash, you know, that model-y look. You know, you're not going to get this kind of a look, which sometimes you want. I mean, I guess here's let me qualify that. You can do it if you put your watercolors like in a tray and then pick it up from the tray. Then you can get like a true watercolor. If you use it in a tray and pick it back up with just a regular, you know, with a water brush or whatever brush. So right now I'm just doing a base coat here. But the colors are so vibrant and pretty. Eileen sent me a set of 36. I don't know, over, I guess a couple, I don't know, year ago, a couple years ago. So there you go. So you can quickly do that. But it's wet. Now it's wet. It's not like as wet as like putting water. And you could use you could pull some up with the water brush. However, be aware, if you try to pull some up or use a water brush, this is a color book page. Okay? I don't care if anything goes through, nothing's gone through yet, because it's a one-sided page. But you want to make sure if you're using a lot of water, dry in between. Dry in between, because you're going to go right through, you're going to pill your paper. This is not watercolor paper. These would be good on watercolor paper because they're real watercolors with a little brush. But just be aware, you know, if you're doing thin paper. Okay, so let's see. Do I want another watercolor brush? I love my olive greens. I love my olive greens. This one is it's called mid green. It's like an olive green. Let me do a little test on. I need a test paper. Yeah, I'm liking that green. It's kind of an olivey. It looks more, yeah, white paper isn't gonna. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm going to go with that green. Again, I'll go back and shade with pencil, but this is a quick way to get. Okay, so now I'm kind of oversaturating here in the middle, so you can do this, look. See how I kind of oversaturate in the middle so you can kind of get that mottled look, but it's almost going through. So you got to be careful. This is water. Again, I don't care if it goes through on this page, but and they'll blend. That's the other thing too. Because this is true watercolor, you can blend other colors together. I like to blend them on the butcher tape, you know, in here. But you could blend. But again, it's going to depend on your paper, guys. Some colors are, you know, they're not going to blend like watercolor on typing paper, so to speak. You know, it just isn't going to happen. They're made as watercolors. All right, so let's see. I think I want these other ones in different shade of the olive. This is a little darker olive. Let's see if it's too dark though with the black. Where'd my test sheet go? Yeah, that might work. Hey Dot, how's it going? See, that's going to be a little too dark for me, I think. Next to the black. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to mix an olive myself. That's not quite as dark as that. Let's see if I can lift a little of it up. I can lift a little. Where's my little... Okay. Or let's test out this olive. We're going from the gouache to the water brushes to the kuretake. Let's see. I think that might be better. It's a little bright, but let's test it. Oh, a little thick too. Let me water it down. Put a little water. I squeeze some water out on my tray. Don't ever squeeze your water brush on top of your color book page. Just saying. You'll have a big blob of water. All right. Yeah, that's thinner. I don't want it as concentrated as that. Do you use pencils over the zig? Yeah, you can use pencils over any of this. Sure do. Got that a little too much water on there. I picked up too much water. Let's get a little less water. And here's where I was talking about if you get any of the paint on the black here, go out, let's say you go out of lines and it leaves a little bit of a bloom, a little color bloom, then that's where I'll just fix it with the black pencil. I mean, I'm not going to try to get, you know, way out of line there, but if you do, you can just fix that, any paint that gets on the black here, you can just fix that with a black pencil. See, I just want a different color of green for the two different flowers. Hey Pat, how you doing? Good to see you. So you can get a lot of coverage with washes or watercolor, whichever. You can get a lot done initially. All right, I'm going to turn it upside down so I can get up to these. And I'm just using the kuretake, that olivey green, and putting it here in the tray. Am I staying in camera for you guys? Getting yourself back in line. But remember, you can go over this paint like with white pencil, light color pencils, because it gives it a tooth that you can work on top of. Or, you know, a Posca pen, a gel pen, you know. All of it, to me, all of it works. And I can't really say I have a particular preference other than my my acrylic paint. When I want something like a flat background, when I want a flat, even if I have to put 2 coats of a lime green, I will go with the background, if I want it flat, acrylic paint. That's how I get my flat backgrounds. That's a mouthful. So as soon as I finish these leaves, I'm going to go run get some coffee. How long have we been here? Oh, good. We're not even 2 hours yet. What's the best way to store paint pens? I like to store all my markers and pens on their sides. Even my ones in my big totes, the totes lay on their side. And you saw my new build here. My marker and pencil build. Okay, let me stop real quick to say, all right, see how the background right here, I told y'all I was going to get in that little area with black pencil. But in the meantime, I'll just get in there with all green, and then I'll get in there with the black pencil and tighten up right along that stem line. Let's see. I built a foam core pencil and pen holder that's 5 feet long, and everybody that asked me to show how I did that on, I can talk about it and maybe show it, but I can't really build it because I built it on the floor and I'm hunkered over it, you know what I mean? I can't really build it on the show, but I can tell you the dimensions and how I built it if you want, if anybody's interested in that. And just show it and kind of talk about it. It's not hard. I did it all with an X-Acto knife, a rubber ruler, a metal ruler, an X-Acto knife, black foam core, and a roll of packing tape. And it did take a whole roll. Clear packing tape. Yes, I built the 100-foot marker storage. That's only 5 feet though, Eileen. Okay, so there we go. So there's our initial paint washes. Okay. I don't know yet what colors of, flowers I want to do on the inside here. I want the background here, the background to like be not black, obviously. I want the background of her, and there's not a lot of background, to be a pretty contrasting color. I don't know about all these beads yet. I'm going to just kind of wait. I want to I'm going to think about it. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move all my watercolor and gouache off to my drafting table, or to my drafting table. And I'm going to dry this, and then we're going to do a little color pencil work. Because, again, even though I don't finish the whole thing, guys, and I will need I'm probably, I got to have something not rough under there. I like to at least show areas so that you get the idea. So that if I do one of these flowers, you know to do all the flowers the same if you're wanting that idea. Same thing for this. So at least you get the idea. My fan, I know I have to keep it away from my cord, but I got to have it on me. There we go. So let me just run real quick and get some, there's the color right there. See, it's a little flashed out. But there's the true color when I tilt it. But if I try to adjust the light so that it's right color here, it's All right, let me go get some coffee. I'll be right back, guys. Okay. So even if I don't finish a page, I like to at least let you see the progression, the progress. And she has braids in her hair. They're not really showing up. I think what I'm going to do, put a little bit more cushion. Let me get my pencils. Let me move this. I keep shifting things around. And I got a lot of pencils sitting out because I'm in the process of doing a commission. Let me just grab the... again, remember what we talked about doing, how to highlight black is with blue. Now, let me say this. The black printing is not as black as like this. Printing is rarely as dark as you can get with paint or pencil or whatever. The printer's ink is never as black as you like it to be, very rarely. And I want her hair to be very black because I'm going to highlight it with blue. So I have to decide, do I want to do that with pencil? Do I want to put some blue on then go in there with black? Because what I want to do is I want to make her hair more braided looking. Yeah, I'm going to have a wash on there of acrylic or something because there's not enough tooth for me to have this show up as well as I want it to. So I think what I'm going to do is, do I have some black here that's still wet? Okay. So I'm going to do a real light wash of black. I just want just enough acrylic paint on her hair to give me some tooth, but not cover up every little braid line. But it might do so, but I'll just have to go in there and draw my own. But I need more tooth on her hair. That sounds so funny. I need more tooth on her braids. So, because I want it to show up as braids. And it does, other than right here and here, you can tell it's braids because of that. But it's not toothy enough to go over it with my blue. So I'm going to put my own wash. Dee Dee, don't you think? Do I think The Rock, the actor The Rock, is sexy? He's okay. I mean, yeah, I guess so. Why, y'all having a discussion about that? Are we voting? Are we voting? See, here's the thing, guys. Sean Connery, it can't be beat in my eyes. Sean Connery is Sean Connery. Use the gouache, it will give you a fabulous, gouache, I just use acrylic paint. Either one's going to be fine. So, now let me dry it though. Remember, you have to have it 100% dry. Here's my heat gun right here. You have to have it 100% dry before you can go over it with pencil. Any of this. And this is all pretty dry by now, but the hair's not. I just came across I have tons of copies of this ad that Sean was in. Where is it? Where did I put it? I think it's right here. I came across this again. Oh, it's just the half of him. I don't have the whole ad. Anyway, here's half of ad. That's, yeah. I love me some Sean Connery. This is, I think it's a Louis Vuitton. Yeah, that's what it is, because I remember Boo. Tell you the story. Hubster was looking through one of his magazines, and he saw that ad, and this is starting to curl just a little, especially now that I put the heat gun to it. So I'm just going to kind of, work it out. It'll flatten back out. He was sitting there with Boo, and this was a few years ago. She was probably 5, if she was a day. And there's the Sean Connery ad, and he says, "Look, Boo, your Nana loves this." And he was talking about, he didn't say anything else. And she looked at the ad, she went, "Ooh, Louis Vuitton." And of course, it was hilarious because she didn't care anything about Sean Connery, but she knew a Louis Vuitton bag when she saw one. Oh, that's cute, Prisma. So I'm just kind of, smoothing it out. So now it's flat again. You just got to kind of, bend it back a little. All right, so now I want to work in her braids first. All right, so what I want to do, let me you know what? I'm going to use my Kenny sharpener. We were talking about this before I hit the record. This sharpener will sharpen it to a point like you wouldn't believe. But it'll snap off if I let me just go ahead and sharpen. So what you do here is you pull this out, you squeeze the little clamp thing to put the pencil in, and that holds the pencil in, right? It holds the pencil in so that you don't have to hold the pencil and sharpen. It's held in there. So now I can hold the pencil sharpener and sharpen, right? And we determine how many cranks it took to do it. But this pencil has not been sharpened by this sharpener before. So that's what I'm talking about. Look at this. And we said, don't be cranky. We can't over crank it. So I put a note on top of my sharpener. Don't be cranky. But look at this. Wait for it. Wait for it. Bam! The thing is, though, guys, that because it's a Prismacolor and they're soft, unless I have the lightest touch, that tip's going to snap off. The very, very tip. But look at that sharp point. Look at that baby right there. Everybody's saying Patrick Stewart, Tommy Lee Jones. Okay, girls. Cool down now, girls. Cool down. So, but I really want that sharp one. If I'm real gentle, I should be able to use it on these braids because these braids are very tiny. But if I put any pressure on, there, it snapped. The very, very tip snapped just then. Because, yeah. So what I want to do is I want to put the braids in her hair with blue. And I'm just kind of doing like something like this. I'm kind of doing something like this to highlight the braids. I'm just going down each braid like this with the blue. And you probably won't see it from where you are now, but I'll hold it up in a minute. They're going nuts over me in the coloring. Erin goes, they're all going nuts over me, and I'm over here coloring a fox. You didn't know you had to pull that out for the sharpener? This right here, yeah. See, when you pull this out, that locks it. Okay? Then you squeeze the little bunny ears, as Kenny called it. You squeeze that opens up the place to put the pencil in. And then when you let go, it locks it in there. And trust me now, one crank is going to resharpen it to its point again. Right? Then you pull the pencil out. That's it. Just don't be cranky. So now I got that point back again. But Prismas are so soft, guys. Yeah, it's, See, there was a point. that it's still pointy, don't get me wrong. It's still pointy. See? But that sharp tip snapped off because that's a sharp tip. Trust me. You'd have to see it. So now I'm just doing kind of like this kind of a design down her braids. And because the paint is there, I'm able to go over that black. Because if it's just the black color book, or if you had this black pencil, remember my sample. What did I do with my sample? Here. So I don't have to do it again. Here is white pencil over pencil. White pencil over black pencil. Here is white pencil over black paint. See that right there? Are we still focused, guys? Hopefully y'all will tell me if we are or not. So I'm just doing that little braid. They're not X's so much as they are Y's, if you will. It's just like a braid comes like this, and then like that, and then like that, and then like that. So you could draw the whole braided hair with that. I'll hold this up in a minute if you can't really see it now, but let me get them on here. And because the braids are tiny, you have to have tiny little marks. If the braids were huge, you would have huge ones. This is the same way I did the mermaid, the dark-skinned mermaid girl with the braids. Bye, K-Bird. Thanks for being here. And you could go back in with maybe a couple extra, you know, a little bit of a touch of just one or two little white highlights if you want. But really the black hair will have like a blue sheen. Like solid black hair. I think my mermaid girl had dark brown hair. But it's the same kind of thing. See how it looks like braids? Rather than just a flat black hair. Just a little touch of blue going down these. I'll show you my other mermaid here. In my binder. In my color book binder. What is the sharpener that we're talking about is the Derwent one. Let's see. Here she is. So can you see how she's got the blue in her hair? Let me take her out here. See the blue? And because her braids are much bigger, see, I could get more detail in there. So I could add a little bit of brown, a little bit more colors. Whereas her hair is so tiny. So, you see how it looks like real braids though? But look at the size difference of the hair. The braids are, you know, she's just got bigger braids than this girl. Okay. Sip of coffee. Okay. So let's do a little bit on her skin. So I want to get maybe see, look, here's a couple more I sharpened. A couple more I sharpened with the Derwent sharpener Kenny sent. Alright, here's the difference. That one's got the original point. This one's snapped. See how just the very tip will snap off? But you got to be careful. That's why I wrote on here, don't be cranky. It'll even though it's supposed to stop it from going any further, it's still, at least for the initial sharpen to get it that long point, that initial sharpen takes a lot of pencil from like this. See how I usually sharpen? Look at the difference in the, let me get a different color, it'd probably be better here. See look at the wood. See how much more this is? Bye, Scoops. Have a good weekend. You too. So this is kind of stubby with the pencil sharpener, right? So let's see how much it takes off. Because again, it's the initial sharpening, that first sharpen that takes the wood back. Where after, now when I sharpen this one again, it won't take as much off because it'll be working on the point. It won't be just necessarily working down the um, the wood. So let's go ahead and see here. Let's measure. Let's measure. All right, so we're going to do a little measure. All right, so here's the pencil, and I'm going to measure from the wood. Okay, so that's from the wood, and here's at the end of the pencil. So that's how much pencil we have, right? Now, let's go ahead and sharpen it. And I'm going to just do the minimum amount, well, it'll probably take about, I think we figured out, it takes about 8 cranks for the initial sharpen. Once your pencil's already sharpened like this way, it's going to take about 8 cranks to get it. Okay, so I'm going to stick this in here. Wait, let's pull this back out. Okay, so we'll do 1, 2, 3. Let's try it with 4 just to look at it. See, it didn't finish. It only got it about halfway. So that initial sharpening is going to take, let's do 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that pretty much did it right there. I could probably do it 1 more to get that sharp point. 1 more crank, and it would be real pointy. Don't be cranky. So let's see how much wood it took off. All right, so I'm going to put it right back on there. Okay, so look how much wood it took. Here. It took that much. See? It took quite a bit on that initial sharpen. Now when I go to reuse this, though, in that pencil sharpener, it's not going to take this much off every time. But that first sharpen took off that much. What is that, about a 1/2 inch? See, from the wood to the wood. Well, you don't have to necessarily count your cranks, but here's what I was doing when I first got it. I was just cranking and cranking until it wouldn't sharpen anymore. Yeah. So just that's why I put the note on there. Don't be cranky. Don't over crank. Yeah, and like Kenny said, it's mostly just the wood that's being taken here, not the product. Right. I should have measured that. Let's do 1 more. Now we're off on the pencil sharpener. Sorry, I can't help it. Rabbit trail. Let's get another one. Okay, so here. Let's do this one. Let's measure again. Where's my pen? Okay, so now this one, let's again do the same. Here's the end of the pencil, and here's the wood, and here's the point. Now, there's not much of a point on there, but here's the point, here's the wood, and here's the end. Okay? So now, let's go for this. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out and put the pencil, squeeze the little trigger thing, put that in there. Okay, now I'm going to take my time. It's going to take at least 8 cranks because it's not ever been sharpened by this sharpener. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's see what it looks like. It's not quite sharpened yet, not to that point. So let's put it back in there and do 2 more cranks. Okay, now it's nice and sharp. And anyone says, what does Dee Dee do on her stream all day? She was cranky, yeah. All right, so now let's see. Here's the end of the pencil. The point is still the same place, actually. So the wood is moved down, like Kenny said. Here's the wood now. The wood was here, but look, the point is in the same place. So we did not really lose any material, like Kenny said, right? So the point is still the point. The wood is moved down a 1/2 inch. I crank out color book pages, yeah. So yeah, that's a good point. So yeah. there's a little demo right there of measuring how much you sharpen. Okay, let's go back to our girl. I want to do her face. All right, so now I want just a little bit darker. I don't really want peach. I almost want a sienna, light sienna, and then a peach. Now, see, this one hasn't been sharpened yet with that pencil sharpener. A nice demo, yeah. The point is, yeah, the point. All right, so I'm going to take like a burnt sienna, terracotta color, and do some shading here. I'm barely, you probably can't even hardly see it. It's just the lightest bit of shading. Just to start shading her face. Can you see? Maybe I should zoom in. I know I hesitate, but you'll know. But the light has changed, so it's probably time to do a zoom in. It's probably time to... All right, here we go. Let's move the... Oop, there we go. Kind of move it there. Let's refocus. It's pretty focused. What do y'all think? Looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but we're not going to get perfect without HD. Okay, so, all right, so now we're going to shade. Hey, Diane. Who else am I missing? Anyway, all right, so I'm going to go in here and start shading a little on her face. Very light. Because I want her to, you know, just have kind of a mid-tone skin color. So I'm not going to overshade. But I want it a little darker than that initial wash there. I don't want to give her bags under her eyes either. I got to be careful of that. Poor Dee Dee needed to do a portrait, and look what, yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm working on a commission, and it has to be done by Monday. Well, it doesn't have to be, but I want it done by Monday. So that means I have, instead of working on that this morning, I'm coloring skin on color book page because of Jean. Not really because of Jean, but you know. But I don't put as much effort into the skin on color book pages. I'm not putting 20 layers on a color book page. Very rarely. I mean, I may occasionally. I mean, it may happen, but for the most part, 2 or 3 colors on the face. I don't overdo the skin and color book pages. For one, they're tiny, and for another thing, because I do portraits all the time. I don't want to. I don't want to do it. No one can make me. And then her lips, what color? Do I want pink lips? I almost want pink lips and fingernails because that will bring out the flowers. So let me just get a nice pink. That's not been sharpened. Uh-oh. We got to be cranky. See, this holds the pencil in place. So you can hold on to the sharpener. So you don't have to have your sharpener. You don't have to have your sharpener attached to a table. It comes with a table attacher. But because it locks it in, you can just hold on to the pencil sharpener, and you don't have to hold. You know, before you would have to hold the pencil while you sharpen, right? All right, go back in. There we go. Don't be cranky. All right, so let's go. All right, so now I'm going to do her lips pink and her fingernails pink because it's going to match the flowers. See, I'm tying all this in. To me, I like to be able to have the minimum like 5 colors, main colors on a page. I missed a little spot right there. Because then it will be cohesive. Right? All right, let's go back to the skin and her nails and all that. If Janet was here and knew Dee Dee was cranky, I wonder what... I hope Janet's feeling... Have you talked to her, Eileen? How's she feeling? She wasn't around. I mean, the last time I really saw her was Wednesday night for the Survivor tweet-a-thon. I haven't seen her. I don't think I've seen her since. But I wasn't online that much yesterday, so... Very lightly. Shh, 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 shh. Okay. She was feeling better, and while we're going to, okay. Thanks, Jean. Thanks. That's why. Okay. Thank you. I'm just going to kind of do a little shading down here on the tiny. This is where these nice points come in handy, even if it snaps off. So yeah, I'm going to have to go through and sharpen. Well, I probably won't do it. I mean, I have hundreds. I'm not going to go through hundreds of pencils and sharpen them all. I really get cranky then. But as I'm using them, I can sharpen them. I haven't seen that, Jean. Can y'all see a little bit? 'Cause it's tiny here, people. It's tiny. Let's face it. Okay, now let's go to my peach color, which needs to be sharpened. Six, 7, 8, 9. Okay, let's see if that did it. Yeah, well, it actually could have gone one more crank, but that would have snapped off anyway, so. Okay, so now I'm going to take, remember, this has got watercolor, that's pencil. Now I'm going to blend them together. And blend. It may not be, I might need one shade darker. I might need my peach. This is light peach. Where's peach? Ah, here we go. I won't take the minute to sharpen it. I'll just, yeah, I need this color to blend the two together. And then I'll go with the light peach too and blend. And I do want to go back over her eyebrows. The eyebrows, again, are not black enough because of the printer. And her eyelashes too. I'll go with those with a pen. It's hard to see the difference. It's hard to see the difference for real, in real time. Without, because it looks black on camera, but it's not as black in person. Okay, I think I'm going to do her. I'm going to have her have green eyes, and I already have a nice sharp green here. Now you don't see much of her eyes. You don't see too much, but I want her eyes to tie in with the leaves is the only reason I'm picking that color. And so what I'll do is I'll take let me find a tiny, so this is a 6, that's a 4. So I'm going to take a technical, technical pen. And then I'm going to get her pupils nice and black. And I'm going to go over her eyelashes. I don't know if you'll be able to see the difference. Can you see the difference between that and that? And I don't have to worry about, as long as this is dry, I won't have to worry about it smearing like if it was a pencil. So, and I'm also going to put another Posca highlight. Get the tiniest one I have. That's probably it. Could probably use a gel pen. This may be almost too big, but I put her a highlight. That one's a little big. I'm going to make that highlight just a little bit smaller with the pen, the black pen. Okay. Now I'm going to go in here with white. And there's some areas I just want to really stand out. Right above the eyebrows. Right along her lip line. See? Snapped! I'm pushing too hard. Tip of her nose here. And it, again, it may or may not show up very much. A little bit on our forehead. And let's see, maybe a little bit of highlight on tips of her, or the edges of her fingers here. All right, now I'm going to go back with my peach colors and do a little blending on top of the sienna color. And blue is always a good shadow color too, but this isn't a portrait class and there's not that much area that I'm really working on, so I'm not going to do overabundance of shading. I'm just more doing blending now. So, do we need another question out of the chat pack? Hope everybody has a good weekend. Again, my plan is to go to Barnes & Noble tomorrow. Maybe we'll have a book haul on Monday. Annie gave me a gift card for Mother's Day to Barnes & Noble, so burning a hole in the pocket. Now, my Books A Million's just right down the street, but my Barnes & Noble is about 20 minutes away. So Hubster and I are going to go there tomorrow before he goes to the movies to see the new Prometheus. I don't know what it's called. Covenant, I think? Something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to do her fingers here. So we'll see what kind of book trouble I can get into. I think that's all I want to do on her skin. That's probably enough. Could probably use a little bit darker right in there. It's got a little kind of a... Could just use a little bit darker on her face here. Let's blend that out. See her face right there. I got a little too much coming off of her nose, and her face looks a little wonky there. Let me see if I can. Oh, I tried to use the Derwent eraser right there. Okay, so now let's kind of. It was just a little too much contrast. Right there. It's okay. In case you didn't see, don't forget to run a regular pencil to keep the machine from clogging. Ah, good. Yeah, the graphite, the lead of the graphite will clean off the wax. That's good. Thank you. And I did not see it, Suzanne. Thanks for repeating it. Let's just do that now. Let's take a Ticonderoga and run it through. Do I have an unsharpened one? Let's see. It comes sharpened, so I'll just run right through. All right, so let's run a Ticonderoga through it to keep the and that's the graphite will clean the wax. Supposedly, I'm thinking. Okay, let's push it in. Let's add it a little bit further in because I want it to really work in it. Whoa, baby, this is a weapon now. Look at that. Look at that, mama. New vinyls, a 45 record player. 45 oh, Barnes & Noble has new vinyls out and a 45 record player? I still actually have some old 45s. I do. I gave a lot of them away to someone that collected them, but I still have probably about 20 left, 45s. All my albums are long gone. My albums now, I kind of wish I still had them, but, let's be honest. I'm probably not going to really listen to any Black Sabbath or, Anyway, so, yeah, I don't have my albums. So I do have a few 45s back from probably the late 60s, maybe. The late 60s. But yeah, that's kind of cool, actually. And snap in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, CMC. No, I'm not going to use this, but I just wanted y'all to see. You're impressed with the sharpener? Yeah, Kenny sent it to me. Derwent. Yeah, and I've been hesitant to use it. I mean, I used it a couple times, but I hadn't really used it because this is what I was afraid of. This right here. But come to find out, when we actually measure it, the point doesn't change, just the wood. All right, let's do a flower. We're going to run out of time. I have about 10 or 15 minutes. You can sharpen the regular pencil to a nub and keep it freely cranky. Well, actually, I'd have to snap it off because it will only go so far. It'll only sharpen to this. And then you're not sharp. It's not sharpening anymore. Don't try to take this on a plane. Yeah. Okay, so let's at least do one flower before we go. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll call this part 1 because I know everyone's going to say, "Well, I wanted to see some more." I can hear it now. So we'll call this part 1, and we'll maybe work on it again, maybe next week. We always do that. Oh, yeah, we get into this one, and then we like that one, then we're going to do the next one. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my pink. I think I want to get raspberry. I love raspberry as a dark pink. Let me find my raspberry. Is that it? No. That's Tuscan red. Where's my raspberry? Hang on, guys. I know I got a raspberry here somewhere. That's Tuscan red. Is that one? Magenta. No, I don't want magenta. I want raspberry. Don't see one sitting here. I might have to dig out one. Let's see. Magenta. Do I need to get a new raspberry? No, it's Crimson Lake. Crimson Red. Maybe I have it over here. Ah, here's one. And again, if y'all want me to talk about how I built my stand, another excuse to get it out. Every time I sharpen a new pencil now, I mean a pencil that I haven't. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 should be enough. Yeah. So I'm going to use raspberry as my dark pink, pink, and white. Those are the colors that I'm going to use. Raspberry, pink, and white on the flower. So I'm going to take my raspberry. I don't know what color I want the centers. I'll leave the center for now because I'm not sure if I want yellow, because if I do a yellow center, that'll kind of tie in with this one. No, I wouldn't sharpen my nubs, that's for sure, because I won't fit in there, right? Alright, so I'm just going to get in here into the dark areas where you can see the color book lines are already there. So anyway, I hope everybody has a good Friday, a good weekend. I'm trying to kind of hold back here so you can see, but my hand will kind of get in the way. Yeah, no, it won't sharpen nubs. And I do, I have nubs. I keep nubs. I use nubs. Look, I use nubs. All right, I think we have time for one more Snapchat. Good grief. Chat pack. We have time for one more chat pack question while we're finishing this. Okay, here's a good one. Forget about soft sounds like babbling brooks, gentle showers, and warbling birds. What's your favorite loud sound? What's your favorite loud sound? And anybody can, welcome to say Dee Dee's voice. You can say my voice. Just teasing, guys. Just teasing. What's your favorite loud sound? If you don't pull the handle all the way back, you can oh, but it won't stay. It won't stay. You talking about this? You have to pull it full out to get it to lock. See, the lock is right there. So you have to pull it all the way out to get it to lock in. Does that make sense? Laughter and thunder. Toss up. Hey, Meerkat. And I also want her lips to have a little bit more red to them. And then a little bit of light pink highlight. Just a little bit like that. Subtle but effective. All right, let's go back to the flower. Thunderstorm, Julie Topaz. Fireworks on the 4th of July. Oh, you don't need to lock it? But it won't stay. It won't, I mean, you said, you mean just put it in like this. I see what you're saying. All right, let's do that. Okay. Let's see. Need some more. So you don't need to pull this out, is what you're saying. Ah, okay. For the nubs. Well, let's see if this little nub. Let me take off my cranky sign. All right, so I got this little nub here. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I got to, squeeze the rabbit ears to get it to go in there. So there's how much is in there. Okay. Ah. Well, I'm going to mess up my page here. See, it's not locking in. There it goes. Yep, it's not locking in. I have to keep squeezing the rabbit ears and shoving it in, and then it's locking in. So you just got to kind of keep doing that, I think. Yeah, see, it's not sharpening as well. So let's keep at it. Let's push it in again. It kind of comes to a stop. So you got to kind of squeeze it back in again. Oh, we're going to get this baby sharp. Not quite as sharp, but there we go. Yeah, it's a sharp little nub. It's a sharp little nub. Okay, oh my gosh, you girls. I get off on so many rabbit trails. Okay, there's a pencil under there. Disneyland fireworks. That's a good one, Erin. Yes, determined. I know, right, Jean? So you see, anybody else had any more? Yeah, I know. I can't stop playing with it, right, Judy? I mean, because I only used it a couple times. I just hadn't had a chance to really, explore all the measurements and, all that. So I had to wait till I streamed it to do it. I'm going to at least get these 2 flowers up here in the corner. Because we're at 2:34, and Ustream could stop at any time after about 2:45. So if you are watching this on recording and we just if it just stops on us, just know we ran out of time. Otherwise, I'll try to save the video in about 10 minutes. We're going to stop in about 10 minutes. They play music, and it's super loud. I can tell you what loud sounds I don't like, and that's the previews of a theater before the movie starts. Oh my gosh, I know they do it. They pick the loudest parts out of all the movies and play that as their preview. All right, now I'm going to take now I'm going to take the white. Now I'm going to take the white, and I think I'm going to go around. Make sure, because I don't want to lose my very bright. Again, I can always go in here with the Posca. Like if it's not white enough, I can take my Posca and go along this edge and then go back over it with the pink so that it's not bright white. If I lose too much of the bright white or the brightness, I can do this with the Posca. Then as soon as that's dry, take my pink and kind of go over it and kind of knock it back a little. But right now I'm just going to go ahead and do all the edges of the petals. Just to keep it a little brighter than the pink, and it's very subtle. Can you see? I'm going to say thanks for the stream now, bye, and have to great video. Thanks, Valerie. You too. I wanted to try to get. I might want it a little brighter. I might do the Posca. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Now, I don't want a line. On the panda picture, and I outlined everything. Let's see. I outlined it on purpose to look like an outline. I don't want to do that on here. Here, see these hibiscus? See how I went around them with a determined white outline? I did that on purpose to have it outlined, but I don't want this outlined. So I'm going to go with the Posca pen, but I'm going to kind of scuff it up a little and just kind of, I don't want a line. I don't want it outlined, I should say. And you could probably just as well do this with a paintbrush and acrylic paint. But I just want it a little brighter on the tips of the whatever kind of flower this is. I know somebody will tell me. Not carnations. What is this flower called? Does anybody? So I'm just kind of rubbing it out so it's not a harsh line. I hate loud anything, but I have to choose your Hubster's dirt bike. Oh, okay. I know there's a name for these. It's not a cherry blossom. Those are on the trees. It looks kind of like a chrysanthemum, but I don't think it is. This is, to me, is a chrysanthemum, right? Isn't this one a chrysanthemum? I'm not sure what this one is. And again, you could do this with a brush and acrylic paint. Thanks, DeMonte. Yeah, it's turning out pretty, but I wish I knew what kind it was. I could look it up, but, you know, I don't do that right now. I'm just kind of feathering it out so it's not a harsh line. Zinnia, maybe? A zinnia? Could be. No, these are zinnias, right? This is a zinnia. Am I correct? And maybe this is a chrysanthemum. Okay, all my pencils are rolling up under here. This is a zinnia. It's a flower. Oh, good grief. Those tight petals, I think, are a zinnia. This one could very well be a carnation. Because it does have those kind of rough-edged leaves, like a, you know, wavy kind of edges, like a carnation does. I'm thinking this might be a carnation after all. And the other ones, these are zinnias. Google shows both as zinnias, tight and loose petals. Okay. I don't think that's a dahlia, is it, Rebecca? I mean, I think dahlias are a little bigger petals. I don't know. I'm not a gardener. I'm just going by what I've seen over the years. Okay, so there we go. So it's gone from this to this, okay, with the white. So I'm going to go ahead and go around these. And again, I'm kind of pulling out the paint so it's not a line, but it has a white, brighter edge, because I'm going to go in there with the pink next. And I'll back up and show you all the book again one more time here as soon as I do these. I won't have time to do the leaves, so we'll have to do that. This will be part 1. Maybe we'll do part 2 on Monday, depending on how much of a book haul I have. Oh, I missed one there with the raspberry. I missed that little. Those plants, we don't have many of them in Norway, but I'm sure I saw a show about them once. Carnations are more roughly than this. Yeah. Okay. Maybe they're both zinnias, forms of zinnias. Okay, so there's a little bit of white edge. Okay, this one, they have the shadow in the wrong place. Okay, now I'm going to take the pink and I'm going to go and kind of almost in between the two. But I want to make sure I keep that bright edge. It doesn't have to be white, but I want it brighter than the pink. So now when I'm going in here with this mid pink over the raspberry and into the white, it's blending it out. And as long as I don't push too hard on this pencil, it won't snap. Don't make me snap. No, I don't think it's a cherry blossom. There's too many petals for a cherry blossom. Cherry blossom only has a few petals, I think. I mean, I'm coloring it pink, so it may make you think of a cherry blossom. But, you know, I was going to say, don't email me. You can tell me in the description box on the video if you think you know. Oh, let me back up my pencil here so you can see what I'm doing. And I want to take a second though. I want to hurry up because I want to show you all the book cover again. So thank you, Tassie Tina in Oz. I'm pretty sure she's in Oz, for sending me this book. She said she got hers. She had to order her copy from Indonesia. but then she bought this one for me and it came from Amazon. So, and I could really even go in there a few more little spots of the darker, but I think that's looking pretty good. So I think actually I could even get in there one more time with the dark, see, and just find a few, just in the very, very points, just the tiniest bit of extra dark raspberry. I'm using raspberry pink and white. See, right there in the little points, just give it a little extra contrast. What do y'all think? And if you want to, pull out a couple lines, petal emphasis, you can do that too. All right, let's go back up to this one here now and do the pink. So yeah, I'll work the rest of the day watching other people's videos while I work on my commission that Jean made me put off so I could stream. No, not really. She didn't make me do anything. I just like to blame Jean. Mums? Is it kind of a mum? Okay. Mums. Yeah, okay. That's definitely a zinnia, right? So this is a mum as opposed to a carnation. Okay. All right, so now I got that layer of pink. Now I'm going to go back with the raspberry and just darken it up right in the points. And that just gives it such a nice contrast, doesn't it? Okay, let me go and back up. So this is what it looks like when we started. This is what it looks like. Will you please say Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers? Is that what you want me to say? Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled Wait, let me start over. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Yeah. So this is what it looks like, and then this is what we've made it. So let me go ahead and back out. Beep, 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 beep. There we go. You're welcome. So you can see, let me move all my stuff out from behind here. This is what what we got, and I did a flip through the book. So if you are wanting to see what's in this, I did at the beginning of the show. I did a flip through this book. It's a gorgeous book, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Get out your what do you call it? Cart. Put it in your cart. Get out your Amazon cart. It's called Moon Blossoms by Katrina Palin, an art book you can color. And this is what we got done. Let me move this in. There we go. And this is what we got done. Again, it's curling a little on the edge. I just kind of turn it over and kind of smooth out the edges a little. So yeah, you're welcome, guys. Thanks for being here. They're already sold out. Y'all bought them already? Oh my gosh, girls. That's what happens with us. Yep. We go wipe them out. They'll restock. Hey, Sherry, good to see you. So, yeah, there we go. That's as far as we got. We'll call this part 1. We'll work on it again on Monday, or, yeah. I can't promise Monday, but we'll shoot for Monday to finish it. Okay? And I won't work on it anymore. If I want to work in the book, I'll pick another page. I'll pick another page. And if you missed it, I did finish. I finished the Bunnies and Bricks page. Where is it? Here it is. And I did post this everywhere. So the bunnies and bricks are done and posted. And I won't work on this one again till we meet again. You're welcome, guys. Hope everybody has a good weekend. You're welcome, Jean. You get completely better, Jean. That's an order, Missy. Sassy Pants. You get better completely. You hear me? And all you other girls hanging out in the healing corner. Y'all get well, stay safe, and have a good weekend. Okay? All right, guys. More pages are vertical. It seems like I should just keep the book this way. No, there's a horizontal. I know that butterfly page. Look at the parasol. It's like everyone are in a garden. These definitely will need to be torn out and put in a book. But I think they're 9. I mean, it's probably bigger than 8.5 by 11. Let me measure one. You know, I'm talking about like for a, to put in sleeves. I think these are bigger than sleeves. Yeah, they're 11. So 8.5 by 11. It'd probably just barely fit in a sleeve in your page protectors, you know. Look at her. Oh, so lovely. Hey, Chatty Cathy, or Chatty Natty. Anybody else coming in? They're all just beautiful. All just so much detail in the floral. That one's pretty too. That would be pretty with this black. All this black right here. Oh, I don't know. This one's in the running. I have 3 of them in the running. Because this background black around some bright pink and yellow flowers. Oh, won't that be stunning, guys? She's got all these beads. It looks like beads around, all huge beads around her neck. I wish they would have had the costume, or the country at least. I mean, I can guess at a few, but I would love to be able to do these accurately. You know, do the country and do them accurately. Like these little, those could be black pearls. But I don't know. I don't know all of them. Look at the detail in that. Oh my gosh. And then this last one here. I'm not sure if she's supposed to be Native American because of the eagle. I'm guessing she is supposed to be a Native American. I don't know. And I'm just guessing because of the eagle and kind of the headdress with the feathers. I don't know. But, so yeah, Moon Blossoms. Isn't it beautiful, guys? Katrina Palin and Tassie Tina gifted this to me. The eagle is Mongolian? Really? She's a falconer. Yeah, I know. I love that one too. Okay, so here's my choices. I have this one, which I love. I love all of them. Don't get me wrong. Okay, welcome everybody to Coffee and Art in the Morning, Friday. I call Fridays impromptu because I never know if I'm going to be able to stream on a Friday. I really wasn't going to stream this Friday because I have a portrait I want done by Monday, so that means working on it today. But now it's going to have to be worked on later today and over the weekend because Jean, yeah, because I wanted to stream today. Just teasing. So anyway, yeah, so I have a Barnes and Noble gift card from Annie, my daughter Annie, for Mother's Day, burning a hole in my pocket. I want to go spend that on Saturday. So anyway, that being said, yeah, that's right, Valerie. I got to get my priorities straight. The bookstore. No, I'm just kidding. But I am well into the portrait, so that's why I said, well, I'm going to finish it today. But yeah, I'll stream for a little while. Yeah, Jean. So anyway, I did finish in the Minuet de Bull. Yeah, in this book, I finished the bunnies and bricks page, and I did post it on Facebook, Twitter, and everywhere. Now, when you see it, I told this to Jean after I posted it everywhere, and then I went back to Twitter to talk, and then I noticed I had not finished. I almost finished this pot and had not finished that pot. Sorry, guys. Fans blowing in my face, shading those two. So when you look at it on Twitter, and I told Jean, I said, Jean, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody I didn't finish those two pots. Really, it was just this one, the main one. And so I looked real carefully. I took my black pencil and made sure I went around every little bit. And yeah, and I forgot that pot. So when you look at it close up, maybe nobody would notice, and I probably shouldn't have said, but I couldn't resist. So anyway, that one's not done when you see it online. But I did finish everything else, and I really like these two. I like the way they look real weathered, those two, and that one too. And then of course our bricks, and then the little dress and the little shirt. I'm going to tilt it just a little because I am holding it up. And so, the wagon wheel, there we go. Tilt it just a little, get the glare off. And these purple flowers, I really like the way they turned out. So, I was really happy with this page. Hang on, guys. Oh. Sorry. A sip of coffee here. I was really happy with this page. Thanks, Suzanne. And hi, by the way. Good morning, Suzanne. Suzanne got her, she won a pack of the art card stuff, and she got that. Hey, Scoobs. Thanks, Eileen. And thanks, Shalene. Hey, Terry. Good to see you. Good morning. Hope your wing is well. That sounds fun. I hope your wing is well. Yeah, so I had just forgot to do that one and half of that one, but it's fixed now. So anyway, that's in this book, and it is posted on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Everybody's loving it on Instagram. I'm so glad. So yeah, the next thing I want to show is I got a new book in the mail from Tassie Tina. Tassie Tina had said in, let me see how she said it. Oh, I'm going to do a flip here. Hopefully, I think we're pretty much in camera. As close as I can get to show a full page. But you know what? It says to do research on, but you know, unless there's something in the back, how do we know what's on what page? Yeah, there's nothing in the back saying like, you know, the sitar and who this is, and it'd be a little tricky to do any research. Yeah, messing language is usually your job, Terry. But because they're perforated, you could just tear them out, you know, and they're one-sided, so each one could be its own work of art. Isn't she beautiful? I'm liking this one, just saying. I might put a post-it note on her. Can y'all see okay? Look at all the lanterns and the Chinese dragon going down. The dresses, she's done the kimonos and the gowns and everything so ornate. Get your carts out, people. Get your Amazon open. No, we're terrible as enablers. Hey, Marie. Good to see you. Y'all know we're Color Book and other supply enablers around here. This one, you can see her heart right there. Her heart. Look how detailed, though. I mean, gonna have to see what we want to color with this, right? And I can just imagine this being gold lame chain, like chainmail. Can't you imagine that being chainmail? And then these have the floating lanterns all around her. And then here's the Bangkok. I think in Bangkok, Thailand, they do this dance. I forget what it's called. I used to know some of this stuff. I used to be smart. I used to be much more. I used to be much more smarter in my younger days. And she is just beautiful. I love her too. I don't know. This is a second here. I'm gonna put. Look at all these irises down here. Can you even see? Oh, thanks, Abby girl. Your husband liked the water. Oh, thank you, Abby Hubs. There we go. Got the flash off of it. See when I tilt it like this. See how her hair is a little white. It's really very black. There we go. I do my best with the camera lighting, and it did turn out pretty good today. So I'm not complaining. Look at that, guys. Lots of detail. Look at all those lanterns. I know. Isn't it gorgeous inking? I know. Look at that line art. Just stunning. Got it from, because I talked to her in message. Hang on. Let me go over here, messages. Okay, she said this is a Filipino artist, and she had bought the book. I think Tassie said she bought the book, and then it came out. Finally, it came out. Oh, she got her copy from Indonesia. Tassie did. But then she saw that it was available on Amazon, so she ordered it for me. Moon Blossoms. Katrina Palin. So this is our new book. I say our because we color together. So thanks so much, Tassie Tina. I don't think she's here now. Tassie Tina's in Oz, I think. I'm pretty sure she's in Oz. And so it's, I'm sure she's asleep by now. So if you do watercolor paintings like I did in that the bunnies and bricks to start, you want to take your time. And granted, I do go a little fast on our streams because I want to get as much information in the shows as possible. Let me adjust my cord here is moving and it's causing my camera to move. There we go. So Katrina Palin, and I've just kind of briefly flipped through it. Moon Blossoms, an art book you can color, and it's really, really pretty. It's perforated. As of This Book Belongs To, Copyright 2015. And again, Tassie said she got it from Indonesia, her copy. And it is going to flash out a little pink, but, you know, we can deal. Okay, so she has a little story here about Tibet Mongolian headdresses. The pages bleed with ordinary. Oh, I thought she was going to talk about the pages will bleed with a certain, but no, they mean that the pages are full of ornate inky detail. Not that it's going to bleed. I was going to say, oh, they already tested it out. From Asian fairy tales that could fuel one's wanderlust. You can tear them out. They stand on their own because they're one-sided. I highly recommend using watercolor pencils for best results. Markers, crayons, pencils, and watercolor will do just fine. A quick tip. Put a scratch paper between the sheets. We know that to prevent bleed through, especially if you're going to use any kind of alcohol markers. I'm not sure. I haven't tested any of these yet, you know. We'll do a little test in the back or or somewhere. We'll do a test. You are free to color the illustrations however you want, but I encourage you to do a little research about the beautiful cultures and histories of the women in the illustrations. Let the maidens of, and I can't pronounce that, come to life. I don't want to mess up. I think it's Chinese. I don't want to mess up the language or the pronunciation. Travel with your colors from solemn temples. Anyway. Yeah. Okay, so sorry, I wasn't looking at chat for a minute. So I'm going to do a flip for you, and they are beautiful, detailed book. So then the next one I picked maybe to do is this one, and I'm thinking this is very tiny. Have to really get close. So I think I'm going to go between this one and this third one. I'm going to go between this one and this one because I'm thinking that background would be beautiful black. The feathers are on the bird, not her headdress. I don't know, look like that's feathers right there, isn't it? That's feathers on her headdress. Or is that, you're saying it's behind the bird? Oh, the bird. Oh, you're saying the bird coming behind her. Yeah. Okay, well, that makes sense. But she's still, and it's an eagle. I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm going to go with, I might go with this one. Although that's tricky because it's vertical on the camera. People are saying number 1, number 3. Number 1, number 3. Y'all are liking the first one, this one. She's beautiful. Y'all want me to go with her? Half of y'all are going with 1 and half of y'all are going with 3. I'm just thinking this background, but the problem with doing this one is I'm going to zoom in anyway, but it's a little trickier for me to stream a vertical because like right here it's hitting me in the chest, you know. So, okay, before we do anything, let's go ahead and do a test. There's no back blank sheet, so we'll have to use a front sheet. Let's do a test on the intro here, this page. Let me get a piece of cardstock to put behind it. And let's test our supplies. You know? So we're going to put a piece of cardstock behind it. And let's do a couple. Let's test a Copic first because we all know it's going to go through with the Copic. So let's do a Copic test here. And of course it went right through. But we want to you want to know. Let's do. That's Copic. All right, let's do watercolor. Get my watercolors here. And I'm going to like try to oversaturate. I need fresh water. I'm going to have to get some fresh water. My water is dirty. But let's see. Okay, let's go with our, okay, there's just with a little bit of water. Now I'm going to, all right, so let's put, this is my Kuretake Gamzai. Let me just put Gamzai. Is it GMBS? Gamzai watercolor. Not that it matters if it goes through because it's a one-sided page. Okay, it's barely ghosting. See how you can just barely see it? Okay. Again, it doesn't really matter because they're perforating. I'm going to tear the pages out, so it's not going to matter if it goes through. I'm doing this for you guys' benefit. Then let's see. Of course, color pencils are not going to go through. Let's do a Neo color wash. So I'm going to put down